You've made it to the soft scoop, where the headlines are soft and the stories are slower, and the goal is simple: help you relax, unwind, and maybe even drift off. Let's catch up, quietly. Once upon a time, in a place where campaign trails stretch as far as the eye can see, it's 2024, and Donald Trump is once again in the headlines. This time for talking tariffs, and not just any tariffs. We're talking massive ones aimed at foreign imports, especially from China. So tonight, let's gently unpack what's been going on, why it matters, and what it might mean, all without the stress. Trump has said that if he wins the presidency again, he plans to raise tariffs on Chinese imports to 60% or more. That's a big jump from the current rates, and it would affect a lot of things Americans buy, from electronics to clothes. He's also talked about a universal baseline tariff on all imported goods, even from countries that aren't in conflict with the US. Some reports have mentioned a 10% base tariff across the board. His team says this would help American factories and businesses compete with cheaper foreign products, but economists aren't so sure. Let's pause for a second. What is a tariff? A tariff is basically a tax on things that come from outside your country. If you buy something made in China and there's a tariff on it, that product costs more. It's meant to encourage people to buy locally made items instead. In theory, this helps domestic companies and can protect certain jobs. But in practice, those higher costs usually get passed on to you, the customer. Prices go up on everyday products, which can really add up over time, especially for families on tight budgets. Back in 2018 and 2019, when Trump was in office, he introduced a wave of tariffs, especially on Chinese goods. That started what many called a trade war. The Chinese government responded with tariffs on US exports like soybeans and cars. Both countries ended up hurting in different ways. Farmers, for example, were hit hard when China stopped buying certain US crops. Prices increased for all kinds of consumer goods, even if something wasn't made in China. The supply chain disruptions affected companies globally. Everything from furniture to phones took longer to arrive and cost more when it did. Now, Trump says those tariffs didn't go far enough, and he's ready to go much harder if he returns to office. So what's happened this week? Earlier today, news broke that the Trump campaign is doubling down on these tariff ideas. They're calling it a key part of his economic platform. They say the money raised from tariffs would go into what they're calling a universal baseline tariff fund, which they claim could be used to cut income taxes for American workers. But many experts say that's not how it would play out in reality. Tariff revenue might sound like a boost to the economy, but it's not always reliable. If imports drop because prices are too high or because of retaliation, that money also drops. It's not exactly a stable source of funding. Big business groups are pushing back. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce and other industry leaders have said these new tariffs would hurt the economy, not help it. They're worried about job losses, rising costs, and retaliation from trade partners. Many companies rely on global supply chains. Parts come from different countries, even if the final product is assembled in the U.S. So, hitting imports with heavy taxes doesn't just affect foreign competitors, it also impacts American businesses and workers. The Biden administration hasn't responded directly to today's news, but in general, they've taken a more cautious and targeted approach to trade. Biden has kept some of Trump's tariffs in place, especially on steel and aluminum, but he's avoided starting new trade wars. His administration is focused more on building alliances, negotiating through global channels, and enforcing fair trade rules. So what we're seeing is a growing difference between how the two candidates view trade, and it's becoming a bigger issue as the election gets closer, and voters are paying attention. For some, the idea of protecting American jobs is appealing. For others, the risk of higher prices and global tension is too much. So what's next? Well, nothing is official yet. Trump isn't president right now, so these tariffs aren't law. But his campaign is making it clear. If he wins, these changes are coming fast. And whether or not you agree with the plan, the impact could be huge for businesses, for global relationships, and for what you pay at checkout. That's it for tonight's episode of The Soft Scoop. The news can be loud and fast, but you deserve to slow down and absorb it gently. Sleep easy knowing you're a little more in the loop. And tomorrow's headlines can wait until morning. Rated 3 yawns out of